And as a continuation on from my previous videos, I'm not going to lie, I got a lot of juicy information yet to come. It feels good finally letting it all out because I've been holding this in for so long. But there were several other details that I was given concerning that there are plans for World War III, as well as these natural disasters that are to take place. Um, they do plan on enforcing martial law at some point. Uh, it's going to get ugly. Um, but, like the birthing process, it's all going to be worth it in the end, guys. Anyways, they said that our solar system is moving through the galaxy, and we are, I guess, headed toward the black hole. Um, but the atmospheres that we're currently moving through is uncharted territory for us. Like we are being exposed to energies we're not used to, and that is um, on an alchemic level. It's also the that's what these energies waves are. It is introducing us to these new dimensions. At the time that I was in contact, it felt like the universe was in my favor. It was a beautiful experience. Not only was I in full contact throughout the day, I mean, they would make jokes with me. It was like my higher self. It felt like a male presence, but it knew me better than anybody else, like that's ever known me, quote unquote. So I definitely trusted whatever it was that I was in communication with. And again, it was a very humbling experience. I was throwing up. I was crying. I was like, why? How? What the, pardon my French, but what the fuck is this? Because I had always been a logical and reasonable person, up to this point. This was the first, like, crazy experience I've ever had. And it was, like, huge. And it all just fell out of my lap. I didn't ask for it. Didn't expect it. But I was dealt with. I was left having to deal with it. So they said that's what these energy waves are. Same with, it was going to be affecting the magnetic poles that the Earth itself was going to shift. Not only are we experiencing an energy shift, but the Earth is going to shift as well, suggesting that the poles may very well flip, for that matter. But they said, it was all about no fear. This is a rescue mission of sorts. And there's a lot of them involved. There's all kinds of different beings that have been waiting for this and are in awe, just, ready for this spectacle to occur. We are like the show. It's like the Hunger Games in a way. Like, they have been watching, it's like Avatar. Like, we're watching ourselves have these experiences in some other plane, and that's what we're going to be merging with, becoming our true soul, because it's basically, we are the same soul, just living different incarnations, but we'll be in our purest form, how we are before you enter the incarnate realm. So they told me about, some of the space stuff concerning that. They also told me about, the warnings about the government and these false religious predators, literally, this has all been pre-designed against us, guys. They knew this was coming. And we literally have been programmed. Well, they've been attempting to. Luckily, I feel like I was born awake on some degree. I did stay away from water most of my life. I always had this voice in the back of my head, never do heroin, never tried it. Not that I ever considered it, but it was like, no. So um, I've always listened to my guides even since childhood, and I think that's how I've tapped into the strong connection. Or I don't know, I'm still trying to understand everything too, and I'm still in some shock and awe and disbelief. I it's just I'm in amazement. Like, every day has been an adventure of the last couple of weeks with these energies coming in, and it's just been off the roof. My own, my own stuff, purging my own internal emotions that I've been clinging onto, or that have caused resentment and uh, any low vibrations or negativity in myself. Um, those have all been coming to the surface, and it's kind of like swiping left and right. Like, that's not me. This is me, and I don't need that stuff. I need the, like, it's just keeping yourself in check. And I feel like this is like the weighing of the hearts process, I guess, if you want to go back to the Egyptians and paganism. You can do your research on that, but I know that, before entering that realm, your heart is weighed, and I think that's what's going on. That's, when they say the purest will be rescued. I think that's if you live centered in your heart. And this is, whether you're purified or not, all depends on your reactions to your own judgment process. But it's very overwhelming. It does cause a lot of self-doubt, but that's what you want to prevent. Don't let it take you to that place. They had also expressed to me that the LGBT community, they are also very special souls, and they told me that they had been tampering with our chromosomes and hormones on the other side, to try and create more positivity on the planet, primarily between men and women, getting along here, to prevent some of the lower vibrations. And it just sucks because a lot of the special souls, or these hybrid souls, I guess you'd call them, were really like angels or aliens incarnate, are what these light workers are. So, to uplift humanity. So it just sucks because we have lost a lot of our brothers and sisters in this battle, to drug addictions and suicide, where they have been subjected to cruelty in the gay communities, etc. Because they are too sensitive for this world. This is not our home. We are all empathic, and that's another thing. You really do need to avoid negative vibrations at all costs. Whether it's images because everything produces a thought in you. You can be watching a show and you're like, oh, so and so reminds me of so, and suddenly you're having another thought, and you're reflecting on it, or and it ultimately affects you. So as an example, when somebody on my Facebook timeline had posted a video of a dog in China being beaten and burned, like alive, and I was like, holy cow! Like, I scrolled right past it, but I'm like, who wants to see that shit on their newsfeed? And I get it; they're promoting a good cause. They want awareness to be out there, and that was kind of how they justified it, which I get. But don't rain on my parade with that shit, like. And I feel it in my chest, and that's the change in vibration. You can feel it physically, and you can ask your guides to fill you with gold light. You can ask your guides, ask for love, ask for white light, and you can feel that fill your chest. Our chakras are expanding and changing, and it's really becoming physical. What we thought, you could only grasp most of your life, you knew something was out there, but you didn't. I mean, now we're really feeling it. Now it's like it's almost here. So it's been a crazy ride. And at the time they were first in contact with me, it seemed like I found a 4-leaf clover, and I wanted to be outside all the time, and butterflies and dragonflies were always around me, and they things like I was thinking about a teacher one day, and then I saw him at the lagoon park we were fishing at a couple days later, and I hadn't thought about him in a long time, and I didn't even know if he still lived in the area. And things like that, people were popping up in my life. I was doing a lot of self-discovery then, and that's another thing I wanted to get into, was some of the more personal things, because they were telling me that I was the queen of heaven, and I'm like, no, I'm not better than anybody else, like that, because that's not who I am. Like, I am shy. It took me and I'm not egotistical. I'm not materialistic. I am a hippie at soul. Like, my house is dirty. Like, I'm just normal. I thought I'm a little bit of a stoner, but I just couldn't believe this was happening to me. But they explained why and pointed out they were bringing up past images from my lifetime. Like, they were bringing up my own memories for me to reflect on, and adding things up for me to say, why wouldn't you be, you're kind, you're loving, you do live by the golden rule, blah, 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 blah. And it's just, I don't have an option, they said. Like, it's just how it has to be. It's how it is. And that's another reason why I didn't want to come out with this, was because I didn't want to come across as egotistical. And I thought, if I got too personal, so I was just, spreading the generic message on my Facebook page, trying to get the messages out there, trying the best to convey what they had told me without coming right out and saying what they told me, or what my source was per se, or who I was necessarily. But they said it's this grand love story, and part of my experience was having to confront the fact that I have been painted as a devil or a Lucifer, but it's the female goddess of love, and that's what's been lacking on this planet, because it's all been male god, and that's the war god. That's what all these that's what the energy is going to. That's what, it has to be balanced, and it hasn't been, and that's what is about to be. And it goes back in literature. You can find in all different cultures this love story that take place between this king and this queen, and they incarnate lifetime after lifetime, and they always end up, and they die young, and as it's like a Romeo and Juliet. When one dies, the other one kills themselves fairly shortly after. It's destiny, and I can't believe it. But anyways, I've paid attention to the Sam theory with Pandora, and how supposedly they're communicating through songs. Well, I was being told even then, before I'd come across that on Shane's channel, that all these love songs were like created, like my love. The love of my life is a time traveler. My twin flame is a time traveler somehow. And all of these love songs it is telling my life story. It is our story. And, I'm the bride. I'm the whore of Babylon, because I've been dating all these fucked up guys. And anyways, I don't know. Like, I'm still trying to figure out all the bits and pieces. And I didn't want to come across as egotistical by stepping into my higher self. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. And I have to claim this. That's the whole point. And there's a lot of souls here that are supposedly from my lineage somehow, going back. It's just crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm just trying to be real with you guys. I want to be honest. I want to be open. I've definitely been listening to all kinds of your stories. I tune in. I do keep an open mind, and I don't rule out anything you guys say. So I really hope you're listening, and because it's been really lonely. Anyways, so my blood sacrifice, because they had said I was like the female aspect of Jesus. So at some point while they were in contact with me, it's almost like they had tricked me. Okay, they led me to believe that I could go out early because I knew about the ascension beforehand. They said we could go in our physical bodies, or you could pretty much check out early, you know, like that doorway is open to us right now. So, I was a caretaker at the time. I was a caregiver, and I had a patient that I was taking care of, and I loved him so. I've loved lots of my patients. I do feel like I have a lot of angels looking out for me, and better on my side. I know they know that I love them. You know, I always try to make an impact on everybody's lives around me, for the better. And so anyways, they had convinced me that I had to usher this client, you know, and he was kind of on his deathbed, and that I was responsible for ushering him into heaven, us and the rest of humanity. So I pretty much took a whole bottle of Aleve while I was at work, and I felt myself die. Like, I felt myself slowly, like, black out. And I had a really vivid, crazy dream. It was heaven-esque, blah, blah, blah. But I woke up in the morning, sicker than a fucking dog. I didn't go to the hospital or anything. I puked my guts out all day. And I was like, well, I'm never doing that again. And then I felt, you know, jaded. Like, what the hell? I could have killed like, what the hell was that? I'm not dead. Where's heaven? Like, I was disappointed. I didn't trust them anymore. I didn't know what the hell was going. But now I know what that was necessary, because after that had happened, like I said, by the end of May, I was no longer in contact with them. And I had also went through a lot of drama in my life as a result of all of this. And I was so pissed off. Like, what was that? How am I supposed to deal with it? And I was a single mom with 4 kids at the time. And I had a boyfriend, and I told him everything as it was happening, and but I didn't tell anybody about the Aleve. I just pretend like I had the flu, and I just puked all day. But I remember, like, I had a glass of water, or my boyfriend had got me a glass of water, and I was so, like, dehydrated, or, like, it was the best damn water I've ever had in my life. And then I asked him to get me a piece of bread. And because I'd been puking all day, and I didn't want to take too much on, and I wanted to be able to keep it down, but I knew I needed to eat, so he brings me this piece of bread, and it was the most delicious bread I've ever had. It was just a regular piece of probably Dollar General bread, but it was so moist, and I had never appreciated bread so much in my life up until that point, and I kept drawing these parallels between what I was experiencing and what it says Jesus experienced in the Bible. Like, I'm literally having these angels talking to me, giving me details about the future and what's to come, and telling me to spread the message, you know, and that there's a greater purpose for all of this, and I'm involved in it somehow. And I'm having to do this in bits and pieces, guys, because it seems like there's some force at play that doesn't want me to make this video. I keep recording, and then the app just closes off. But anyways, they had said that I was anointed. They had baptized me in my shower. There was a council of beings that have been a witness to my entire life. Just studying, engaging, like I'm some kind of spy for the galactic force. And I'm going to have to do another video because this one keeps wanting to cut off. So please stay tuned. I have more to come. I love you guys. I can't wait to ascend with you.